6 minutes. 6 minutes there before. Oh,
We're waiting for our guests to arrive. Sorry for the delay. Can everybody hear me? Sucks. Got a few topics we want to touch on today. Couple of issues. Some back chatter in here. Second. Maybe that's it. Check, check. Check. Yeah, I think that might have did it. Can't hear my mic over here. Okay. And our first guest is here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Michael Johnson. He is the recruiter for the National Owner Operators Association. And please welcome
What's up, Mike?
Mr. Michael Johnson. How are you?
Not bad. Yourself? What's going on tonight?
I'm doing well, sir. Doing well, sir.
I'm on a phone that's like, I don't look good. I need to go get a haircut.
You look good, bro.
Cut your hair.
You look good, Mike.
Yeah. I look scruffy, bro. I look scruffy.
We all do, man. We all do. We're all a little scruffy. We're working hard. It's stressful. It's stressful.
I wish people actually knew how hard we do work and why we don't give out free stuff.
I Hey, brother, I gave out a lot of free stuff down in Texas, man.
Light sucks.
Nah, you good, Mike. You good.
No, I'm talking about that light right there, bro.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, is Tim Kaine on Twitter right now?
Who?
Kaine.
Oh, I don't know. You want me to check? Hold on.
No, I was just wondering because I thought I saw something saying that he was going to be on Twitter. I didn't want to do this while he was on Twitter, but it is what it is. In any case, anything you want to talk about? Anything you got on your mind before we get into it?
There's a lot on my mind, bro. But unless you want it to sound like the space this morning, probably not.
Hey, this is the forum. This is the forum for you to get it off your chest, brother. Go ahead. You got the floor.
It's all right, bro. I've been watching these rates and going through and trying to find new recruits and it's real frustrating. Everybody wants that this load board, and they don't understand that there's no broker out there that's going to load our load board. We're doing this ourselves. That's why I've been spending quite a bit of time the last couple of days just trying to get some recruits. I think we got about 10 more that are coming in at this point for tomorrow's meeting. They just need to verify one person with you at this point that doesn't have proof but says you can help me. So I sent you that, and if you could do that, that'd be great.
I'll definitely. I see it right here in front of me. I will definitely look into that. 1 second, sir. We have another guest coming.
Nice. I don't want to be the only one here.
Listen, while I am sending this out, why don't you go ahead and explain to everyone who you are and what you do for the association? What is your affiliation with the association?
Well, my job is just to get as many people in and try to educate them, with what we're doing and get the numbers up there so that we have a leg to stand on and we show basically that we're not going anywhere. And but I'm behind the scenes just trying to figure out new ways to get people and it's just I'm just the guy that nobody knows about. That's it.
Everybody knows about you, brother. You've been involved with this movement since the beginning. You were a member of the national, not of the National Owner Operators Association, but of the Facebook group since pretty much the inception, since before the boycott. We're coming up.
I was under other names, but I changed and came in, and I kind of just hung out and I was looking, and it was actually a dispatcher that I ran for at the time that for Travel Loco that actually brought me in, and I'll be honest with you, he was like, look at this joke, blah blah blah, all these rates, blah blah blah, and I went in and I was like, dude, this is no joke. I mean, this is the real deal right here. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, dude, they're trying to make a difference in the industry. I said, this is not a parody. This is like for real. And then the boycott came up, and I pretty much told you that I never could get the support that I needed to make it happen, but I'd follow you off a cliff as long as we could get it going. I mean, I'd sit in the background and make it happen as much as I could.
Brother, and I reciprocate. I appreciate that love, and I take that very seriously, and that's one of the things that keep basically keeps me going. I know that there's a lot of people out there depending on us, and depending on us being successful. And I don't stop. I just keep going every day, because I know that my phone is going to ring and somebody's going to have an issue that they're going to need help with. And I know I got to get up. Someday, I'm 53 years old. Some days I got to crawl out of bed. I'm in so much pain. I don't want to do anything. But I drag myself up, and I get up, and I know I got to be ready for the day, because I know somebody out there is going to need some help with something, and my phone's going to be ringing, and I got to get to work. So, I appreciate you. I know a lot of the members of the association appreciate you as well. And please keep doing what you're doing, brother. It's very much appreciated.
I would like to add something to the webpage when they come in, something that says, where did you hear about us? Because I kind of want to know where to direct my attention. Did they get an email? Did they get, where did they hear about us? Because that's where I'm going to kind of start looking towards, directing my attention, because it's pretty spread out right now, just trying to figure out how to get more people and just trying new things. Because, yeah.
We could definitely do that. I think that's something that we could do in the Facebook group, actually.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
You know what I mean? But yeah, in the Facebook group, I think. Oh, we got our next guest here. Special guest. Let me get him in here. Hello, sir. Mr. Jake Long. How are you?
How are you? I'm doing good. How are you today?
I'm hanging in there. Let's see here. Boom, bing. Join NOAA. www.tnooa.com. NOAA.
It's amazing what technology will do when you use it correctly. There's no echo today.
I told everybody, on Twitter today. I said, "Yo, it was a mishap. We getting to learn. We got to get to learn the system, and it was the first day. And we got it worked out. You should have hung out to the end. We got it worked out, and it is what it is. But Jake, any news today? Anything you want to touch on before we get started? I want to make this one quick today. Maybe we could just do an hour or 30 minutes and wrap it up. This is our first YouTube run, so let's. I told you I could get it working, so I got it working. Anything you want to talk about?
Traffic's bad in Memphis. That's really all there is that I got. It just cleared up. I just come through where there was an accident. They're working it over in the Hammer Lane. Not much going on. I just got off the radio. I called Grace Sharkey or Grace Sharkey. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce her name. She does. She works for Freight Waves at this time slot, and she had a guest on that was talking about giving tips towards getting direct freight, stuff like that. Which that's all good and well, but the narrative that they keep sticking to is supply and demand, and I reject that completely, wholeheartedly, because it costs a certain amount of money to move a truck. And whether it's supply and demand or not, it still costs a certain amount of money to move a truck. So, right. giving out tips on the radio on a platform that is nationwide like that, you should have correct information and not. She called it a myth. She used the word myth several times, and I'm like, how is it a myth that it costs $2.25 a mile to run a truck?
You were
You know,
talking to her?
Well, I was listening to her, but I did call in. She gave me about 30 seconds to talk. And I said, how is it that you can say that supply and demand is the way it should be when it costs a certain amount of money to run a truck? Isn't that counterproductive to the industry? Isn't that basically a race to the bottom? That's about the gist of what I said to her,
What was her
they
reply?
just, that it's supply and demand, and that truck drivers it's their own fault basically for not getting direct freight or having a direct customer. Well, not everybody is set up that way, and they give these examples that if you got to bounce 100 miles, nobody cares really about bouncing 100 miles at this point to get a load that pays over $250 a mile. Everybody will do that. But if the loads are offered at $250 a mile, you're just not seeing what is sustainable out there, and you got to fight for every single penny. And I don't mean to sound like a complainer, but it's the people that have these large platforms that push this narrative that's not correct, that that perpetuate the problem in the industry.
Let's
be real.
The megacorp narrative, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. The mega. It's your own fault. You should have direct freight. Really? So
basically,
why is there such a large spot market if everyone should have direct freight? The Motor Carrier Act of 1980 doesn't say everyone should have direct freight, and if you don't, basically go to hell.
That's
no,
it.
The Motor Carrier Act created a race
to the bottom,
just like you said.
How do I mute so that doesn't hurt everybody's ears?
Go ahead, Jake.
No, I was wondering what was going on. I heard somebody yelling in the background.
Oh, that's ADD, brother. He's probably off his Ritalin.
Listen,
ahead,
we're gonna put some Ritalin in a Snickers and slingshot it into his mouth if he don't calm down.
Oh man, listen, I want to talk to you guys about Jake, brother. What you're talking about right now, man. It's just like it takes years off my life. Like I'm so tired of arguing with these ignorant people, and it doesn't matter. It's like the larger their platform, the more intelligent everyone thinks they are. And as you saw firsthand, you're basically dealing with an idiot. You know what I mean? Just throwing talking points out there. It's supply and demand. It's supply. Listen, there's so much freight out there. It's incredible. Nobody wants to move it for that garbage money. So what you're seeing right now is a Mexican standoff, pretty much, right? Well, the freight is sitting there, and they're waiting for dummies to come and call about it. You know what I mean? Mike, what's your take on that, bro?
Well, my take on people taking dummy loads, I honestly think that there's a lot of playing behind the scenes where the load doesn't actually exist, because if you've watched the board, the loads like pretty much disappear at noon, and I wouldn't know why that would be, other than, I don't know, maybe lunch, and then they're end of the day, the ones that were crap, they start going up, but they stay on the board all day long. But the ones that are good, they disappear at like noon, and I'm wondering if they don't actually exist. Like, I watched a lot of things with the load board and stuff, and I compared day to day, what should have been yesterday's outbound to what they say yesterday's outbound was today, right? And they were totally different and totally back. But hey, check it out. Look what came. Oh, yeah.
I have a question.
Nice, huh?
Nice.
I want to say something that I think there's a disconnect between the people that invent this technology or that that come up with this technology and the actual people that do the work. And they don't realize that it actually takes physical labor to do something. It doesn't matter how much you want to, how much technology you want to throw at it. It actually takes physical labor to do something, and you can't plug that into an algorithm and make it work. So it's great that they're smart and they know how to write code and build technology. That's all good and well, but when the rubber meets the road and you're actually in traffic doing the work and there's a wreck and you run out of time with your ELD, how do they account for that? And then that's just one example of a million things that could go wrong. Where is the, there's got to be a learning curve where they finally say, well, let's back off this technology because our numbers look great on paper, but what's really actually happening that's not so. Where are we going to get, when are they going to back up and turn things so that it's sustainable in the industry? When does that happen? Or do we just have to keep going down this path with them of, we're smart, we know best, and you're going to do what we say because we built some technology? Are we just on that train for the rest of our lives, or can we back up and say, hey, there's more to it than just numbers and algorithms? You know what I mean?
I agree with you 150%, and that takes humanity, right? That takes someone standing up and saying, yo, what about the fuel these guys have to buy? What about the tires? What about the maintenance? What about the PMs? What about the guys that got to pay drivers? What about, that takes like real intelligence. You know what I mean? And, the truth of the matter is the way the supply chain is set up now, it wasn't set up by people with real intelligence. You know what I mean? It was set up by people that were in the pocket of, big business. You know what I mean? So that's the only thing they care about. And, big business is always going to cannibalize itself. You know what I mean? Like it's always going to eat itself. And that's exactly what you're seeing happening. So it is what it is, man. Mike, go ahead.
Oh, I wasn't raising my hand or anything, was I?
We're passing the baton around, Mike.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, I honestly, at this point in time, we gotta, we I hate to say it, but we got to show them that, we mean business at this point in time, because they're calling our bluff. And I just want to let the people know out there, hey, make sure you got some food on hand, because, it is what it is. We're forced up against the wall and we can't afford to run anymore. So, my trailer hasn't had a food load in it in 9 months. So that's just one reefer out of a lot that, isn't taking food, So for the last 9 months, I haven't moved not one food load in a refrigerated trailer, which, yeah, it's just, understand it's coming. Make sure you're prepared. Get all the toilet paper you can, and for sure, make sure that you've got something to make substance so you can use the toilet paper, because toilet paper don't do you no good. You got no substance.
Absolutely. August 20th to the 26th. August 20th to the 26th, 2023. Operation Broker Reform Week. It's the FMCSA named it Operation Brake Safety Week or something like that. We hijacked it and renamed it Operation Broker Reform Week. So we have chosen to not turn our keys August 20th to the 26th. If you'd like to join us, that would be great. We've decided we're not going to move our trucks. So August 20th to the 26th, basically we're not moving. I want to touch on something that happened this morning. I got a phone call from a member of the National Owner Operators Association. Nice guy out in Texas. He's been calling me off and on for like the last few months, maybe 4 months. He's been in business for about 6 months. He sold his home. He sold his car. He sold everything. He was living in a hotel with his wife, and he got a CDL, and he went and he signed a lease agreement. First, he signed two. I want to talk about the first one first. He signed a lease agreement with Super Ego, and that didn't work out well for him, and he ended up getting out of that lease, and he moved back into a hotel with his wife, and he was living in a hotel for a couple of months, and then he called me up and he told me he found this company and he got a great deal, and he signed up with them in, I believe it was maybe the beginning of June, and he called me up today and he told me, well, he called me up on Sunday. I was in the emergency room with my son, but I took his call because he's a friend, and he told me he was having some issues. He said, you know, I signed up with this company. I'll go ahead and throw the company's name out there, AAA Freight. AAA Freight, and they are located in, one second. AAA Freight is located in, I'm going to tell you, one second. Where are these low lives? South Holland, Illinois. AAA Freight. Serbian company. In any case, he says to me on Sunday, I'm going to make this short. He says to me on Sunday, he says, Mike, things aren't going good. I don't have any money in my pocket. He said, I've been running like crazy, been running these loads for these guys. And right now I'm in California, and, you know, I'm expecting a check for about $10,000 on Monday. And he says, you know, if I get it, that's great. Everything's good. But he said, if I don't, I'm going to let you know. So he calls me up today, and he tells me that they gave him a check for $1,200.
Oh man.
Swear to you. This carrier, and they're not, you can't even call these clowns a mega carrier. Like, they're just a bunch of yahoos in Illinois with some trucks, right? He's got a 2019 truck. He's in a lease option. And yeah, he did 10,000 gross about, and they sent him a check for $1,200. So he calls me up today and he asked me, he says, Mike, I'm done. He says, you know, I can't do this. I can't operate on 12. And he's paying all his expenses. Like, he's paying everything himself. He's paying his own fuel, tolls, ELD, insurance, everything he's paying himself. And they sent him a check for $1,200. Now, you're talking about animals, right? Animals. These are literally not even human beings, right? These are animals. These are the people that we warn everyone about. These are the animals. AAA Freight in South Holland, Illinois. Okay. So he asked me, and I'll end it right here. He asked me, the reason why I have all of this information right here, he emailed everything to me, is because he's a resident of Texas, and I am actually meeting with Ted Cruz sometime this week or next week. I don't know when the appointment is, but I actually have a meeting with Ted Cruz, and I've been speaking to a lot of his constituents, and they've been sending me emails and their stories. So I'm going to hand deliver those to Ted Cruz during our meeting. In any case, he asked me what he should do, and I told him, you know, I can't tell you what to do. I can only tell you what I would do. You know what I mean? And what I would do is what I've done in the past when I was leased on to, you know, carriers and they jerked me for money. I would just keep his equipment. Basically, I mean, you got his truck, you got his trailer. He basically would never see it again. And I've done that to guys in the past that tried to run off with my money. And I would have no problems doing that to this guy. It would actually be good. You know, but I told him that's me. That's what Mike would do. You got to do what's best for you. You know, you're not me. You know what I mean? I'm not a nice guy. If somebody takes me for a ride like that, they're going to feel it. You know what I mean? And I'm really not concerned with anything else. You know what I mean? So, you know, I just wanted to get that out there that, you know, we are aware of this situation and we are, you know, going to try to take some action for him. But I want you guys to chime in on that. I don't know. Jake, you want to go first?
Yeah, you know, there's enough history out there that people should know by now to not sign on with and do a lease purchase with these. You know, I can't. It's hard to speak about this because some companies will treat you right, and I know for a fact because I've had a firsthand experience with it. But you know, most of these mega by following the rules. You know, and something needs to be done. You know, the National Owner Operators Association has a lease program with a guy that, you know, just one individual, not a mega, and we enforce standards, you know, and there's nothing that the FMCSA can do with their task force that they put together. You can't regulate business like that. If it was, you know, going down the road, they can enforce some laws that way. You know, that has to do with following road signs and weights and standards and stuff like that. But what are they going to do with this task force? You know, what are they going to take some heat off of us and put some auditors on this task force? I mean, what do they plan on doing? You know, this is just one more sign that we need reform in the industry. The Motor Carrier Act of 1980 it's not 1980 no more. It's not 1985 no more. You know, they were supposed to look at all these policies from that act for 5 years, and they didn't. And you know, there's a lot that can be done, but if it's going to be done or not. You know, what is the FMCSA at this point? They're more or less defunct. You know, they put your information out there on your private information out there on a public website for scammers to get and steal. What's the benefit of the FMCSA at this point? And I've said this before, and I mean it, but the National Owner Operators Association has more power in the industry than the FMCSA at this point, because we're setting standards and we're enforcing them. We just won't do business with you. We'll boycott you. You know, the definition of a boycott is to not do business. You know, people can say, oh, the rhetoric, whatever. Who cares? We're boycotting you. We're setting standards. We're enforcing them. You know, let's see someone from Congress or the Senate step in and make a good faith effort at changing one of these problems that's just overwhelming the industry. Whatever it may be, something. Step in. Get some I'm not even going to go down that path. Let's just see some action instead of talk. You know, that's all. I'll leave it at that.
Mike, you want to chime in? I agree, Jake. Mike, what's your take on that?
Well, I mean, 1980 was the time that we walked into the Flying J, and you had, you know, a little black monitor up on the wall, and it had loads that were going through, and you took your little notebook out, and you looked up at the wall, and you said, oh, I want to call that broker. So you heard and scribbled down his number, and then he had about 5 tables that had little phones on them, and you picked that up, and you called the broker. They had zero idea how many trucks were in the area. They had zero idea of anything, so they knew that negotiation was needed, right? So you had some negotiation power at that point in time. Nowadays, the ELD and everything else, they know exactly where they're at. They know how many trucks are in the area. They know everything about you. And in my opinion, that goes against, well, they were talking about it the other day, that the regulation where you can't, you know, decide how much is in the industry. And then, you know, I'm not going to get into the troublemaker part of it, but we all know there's a 3-letter agency in Washington that lines Congress's pocket nonstop. And, you know, all the load boards are on the board of directors for them. All the major carriers are on the board of directors for them. So when you're going to sit here and tell me that they're not making the industry standard of a rate for a truck driver, I'm going to call you a liar, period. End of discussion. And I'm not going to, you know, use the technical terms that I would talk about, but, you know, it's just, man, I don't even know. People don't understand how deep this really goes, but I mean, follow the money. Follow the money. It all goes round in circles. And there's one big, you know, happy club that, you know, has all the money, and we weren't invited, and they don't want us in. And they literally, you know, they want us to go away. And I don't know about you, Mike, you want to tell anybody, but I've received notes from, you know, these big carriers that say, hey, how many people you want to go out of work before you stop this nonsense? You know, we can offer you these piddly wages, and they offer piddly wages at that point in time. And then they say, why won't you work with us? And it's like, you ran all my friends out of business. You've almost ran me out of business. If I didn't own my equipment, I would be out of business. I mean, I promise you, it's parked down there because I was able to pay my insurance $6,000 for the year. Okay. I hope, you know, it's not a typo and I get $6,000 next year, because anybody that's not going to just use that insurance, just, I mean, unless, you know, it comes to the point that, you know, nobody will take that insurance, then, you know, $6,000, you know, and I just looked at it. I took it off my HELOC. I took what I had, and I said, you know, at least I'll be in business 1 year from now, even if I park and just have to pay my $150 parking fee for my spot, and it just sits there, and I start it once a week just to make sure the seals don't dry out. You know, I mean, it's at that point. It hasn't had a load in it that, you know, is food oriented in, like I said, 9 months. So, I mean, maybe I don't make a big difference, but when everybody doesn't have food in their trailer for 9 months, you're going to see a big difference. It's going to be empty shelves. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, either, you know, call your local broker and ask them what the deal is and when they're going to start being fair, or understand that, you know, there just isn't going to be no food on the shelf. That's all there is to it. I can't afford it.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Yeah, that was the number one topic I want to touch on. You know, the low life, you know, carriers out there still pulling these lease to own scams on these guys that are desperate, you know, and it's wrong. And this particular member, he asked me to bring this up to Ted Cruz when I speak to him, and I told him I would. I don't know if anybody saw this press release today with this former contractor says FedEx Ground must address driver wage disparity with UPS. Former high-profile contractor said FedEx Ground the ground delivery unit of FedEx Corp, which is a publicly traded company, must address the expected widening wage and benefit disparity between UPS drivers and those in the unit's network of contractors, are expected to attract and retain qualified drivers. If contractors are expected to attract and retain qualified drivers. Guy's name is Spencer Patton. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know the history too well of him, but he's well known out there for bringing up some issues and stuff with them. I know that. Yeah.
But check what
he's
they
been
did
around
to
a
him.
while.
Yeah, check what they did to him. He was advocating for about 6,000 FedEx ground owner operators. When you see contractors, that means owner operators. And FedEx pulled his authority. They pulled his contract. He doesn't work with FedEx anymore. He tried to get him a better deal, and they pulled his contract. But listen, look at the wage disparity between FedEx owner operators, who, by the way, the reason I'm bringing this story up is funny. It came out this morning at 7 a.m. Guess who contacted me yesterday asking me if I wanted to renew my contract with FedEx? Well, I already gave it out. FedEx Ground. I had a contract with them, and I basically just told them to blow. And they called me up asking me if I wanted to continue moving forward with my relationship with FedEx. And I was like, well, did anything change? And they were like, no, not really. I said, well, then no. Have a nice day. Goodbye. But the difference in pay between UPS after they sign this agreement later on this month on August 22nd, they're going to be getting about $49 an hour. Part-time drivers will see their wages bumped to $21 and $23 an hour. All 340,000 Teamster members will get $2.75 an hour wage increase in the contract's first year. By contrast, non-union FedEx ground drivers make between $20 and $25 an hour. Yes, sir.
You know, that's pretty good money, you know, and when you're an owner operator and you have so much skin in the game as being an owner operator, and you're not even making minimum wage at the end of the week, that tells you the disparity, you know, that's out there for drivers that are trying to be self-employed. You know, these guys, you know, that like that guy that where you were speaking of earlier that has the bad lease purchase deal. You know, I'm sure the $1,200 that they paid him after it was all said and done is, you know, I don't know how many weeks. Did he say how many weeks that was for, or is that for 1 week's worth of work? How many hours did he have to?
I think it was for 1 week. He was supposed to send me the the settlement. He didn't send it yet. I think it was for 1 week. They ran him.
I'm sure he did about 100 hours worth of work to get what he did, and that's about $12 an hour roughly. Even if he worked legally at 70, you know, that's probably $15-18 an hour, right around there. So, you know, that's the difference. These guys in the private industry working for companies like FedEx, even non-union, making $20 to $25 an hour, you know, that tells you that what we're out here doing is not worth what we're doing, but we're still doing it, you know.
Right.
And I know there's a lot of variables. There's different scenarios in every situation, but overall, you know, you're out here, you know, working. You're doing 100 hours a week, 70 to 100 hours a week every week. Every guy is, in one way or another, you know, and because they're working that clock the best they can. You're either on paper logs or you're working that clock, and you're you're running that you know, where you're I forget what it's called, where you're allowed to, you know, kind of log off and drive a little bit. They're doing that. I hear about that so often out here.
PC.
Yeah, PC. Yeah, it's like, what? There's got to be change. Somebody needs to step in that is in authority and do something and put a stop. There needs to be a serious talk as to the health of this industry and the direction it's going. And we can't have, you know, large news organizations that they need to be held responsible for the rhetoric that they put out, you know, because we can't have this narrative that it's supply and demand, because it's just ignorance, and it perpetuates the problem. It just continues it on down the road, and they're like, you know, well, it's not my fault that you took that load. You know, you need to get set up better. Well, not everybody's in a.
Right, but meanwhile, it's not your fault that I took that load. But what choice did I have? Here's my options. I could drive 200 miles deadhead to another area and maybe find loads on the load board that are paying a little bit better and don't have me in a corner. Or I could stand here and keep going up and down this load board, looking at the same loads being put out by the same brokers at the same price. But no, You're not controlling the rates, right, Mike? Right?
Nah, they don't get an email in the morning telling them what the rates are going to be for the day. I mean, that's not happening. I mean, TIA would never do that. I mean, they don't send out letters saying that, you know, we'll teach you how to double broker either. That doesn't happen either. No, it doesn't happen.
Mike, it's called teaching you how to be successul. That's what they
well, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not double brokering. It's being successful. I got you.
Being successful.
Okay. Gotcha.
TIA helps them be successful, bro. Go ahead. Yo, Jake, honestly, I didn't mean to cut you off, brother. I'm sorry for being rude. But what I was going to say was we need guys like you and Mike that aren't afraid to go at them face to face and tell them they're a liar. You know, outright. Listen, stop trying to sell that narrative. Stop trying to use that talking point. It has nothing to do with supply and demand. You have no idea what you're talking about. It has to do with the fact that right now it costs me more to operate my truck than what you're willing to pay me to do these loads. And God forbid I have an emergency on the road and I got this load on over here and I'm even more screwed because I took this garbage load. And now I have an emergency that I got to pay for. And this was an absolute total waste of time.
How much longer are they going to push this green energy thing and ignore what's right that's actually happening? You know, and not to say green energy is a pipe dream that can't happen, because it can. And we need to look forward for more a cleaner energy. But at this point, diesel's more efficient than gas because of the amount of energy that you can move with diesel, you know, for your foot-pounds of torque. And you got to work with what you got that's in front of you. You can't ignore it and think that, you know, something is going to be the future when it's not proven technology. It may be great to go down the road in a Tesla, but it's a different story to have a semi that can recharge itself, or, you know, get somewhere and recharge, but have an entire fleet of them, 3.5 million trucks out on the road. You know, you gotta be realistic, and you can't rely solely on technology when there's so much human involved in it. That's where they're going wrong, is they think that all this technology is the end all be all, and it's not. It's great, it helps, and we applaud you for being smart and developing something like that. But that doesn't speak to what the actual case is. That, you know, we're out here driving these diesel trucks and they blow some black smoke, yes, but we're getting your shelves filled and we're keeping the clothes on your back. You know, that somebody needs to step up that's in a position of authority and step in and do something that slows things down, puts it in the proper perspective, and we work off of that, not what pipe dream at this point. Because you know, they can't even charge trucks. They're telling them to turn their air conditioners off in California, and well, let's not charge trucks right now. You know, well, what are you supposed to do when you can't charge trucks and all this green energy's been passed? I'm all for it, you know, but I'm also realistic, and that's what needs to happen. We can't elect these people into positions of power that aren't realistic, that are beholden to in an industry that their family's involved in. You know, we need actual legislation that's correct and not a pipe dream. You know what I mean? I'll just leave it at that.
Brother, I know exactly what you mean. And, you know, the only alternative fuel, alternative energy that makes sense is hydrogen. That really is the only one. And look what they did to the only company out there really that's getting it done. You know, luckily the guys that were left behind after this fool of a CEO got ousted, they're still trying to, you know, they're picking up the pieces and they're running with it. But Nikola,
they're on their third CEO. Yeah, they're on their third CEO since the inception of that business.
Right. Nikola is the only one that really makes sense. And you know, the hydrogen makes sense. It makes a lot more sense than Tesla's technology. And you're right. You know, you said pipe dream, and I agree with you. It's a pipe dream. The infrastructure is not there. We're decades away from it being there, and I don't foresee it being there anytime soon. He's only going to sell those trucks to, you know, Amazon and Pepsi and, you know, these large corporations that are going to be able to handle those trucks on their own. Mike, you want to chime in?
The only thing those trucks are going to be is a show truck, and they ain't going to go any further than about 150 miles outside of any one area because, you know, I mean, if the battery for a standard Tesla is 25,000, what do you think the battery for those semis is? Because it's 3 times the size, and I don't know, your little e-cigarette you got going on there, you know that the battery for a Tesla is the battery that's in your e-cigarette, just they're chain linked together inside. And one wire being snipped destroys the whole battery. and I mean, it is a pipe dream because the statistics are that it would take the power of Vegas to power one truck stop. Okay. In Vegas that I know of, there are 4? So we need the power of 4 Vegases to power the truck stops in Wait a minute. No, that doesn't add up. Sorry. Just saying.
Mike,
but
we're gonna get you a calculator, buddy.
Mike, you need to pull a ton of power from the grid. And if anybody wants to know exactly how BS it is, you can go on YouTube and you can, I forget the committee, the energy and something committee, and you could see the expert up there talking about how big of a pipe dream it is to try to create an infrastructure for these types of trucks. It's impossible right now with the technology that we have right now. It's like Jake said, it's not possible right now, but it will be possible later on in the future. I want to point out something here. If the National Owner Operators, the National Owner Operator Association fuel card will be available soon. These are some of the suppliers that you will be able to purchase tires from. The discount is between 52 and 53%. Also, you're automatically enrolled in this tire program if you sign up for the fuel card. You'll also be automatically enrolled in the preventative maintenance program. You can get your truck PM'd at many different places around the country. You're automatically enrolled in these two programs as soon as you sign up for the National Owner Operators Association fuel card, which should be dropping very soon. Thank you. What else?
And this is not a prepaid fuel card, people. And I'm pretty
Nope.
sure that this gets directly reported to your business credit. I think we talked about that, didn't we, Mike?
Yes, sir.
It does go towards your business credit. So, it's like a Amoco card or Conoco card or whatever, and it helps. Every little bit helps, and you get good discounts with this fuel card, and it's branded with a NOOA on there. So everybody, I want to see a big response on this because I'm excited about this fuel card, and I know Mike is too.
Yes, sir. It is a very useful card. The company is great that we partnered with. It is a division of Shell, and you're going to get some nice fuel discounts with it as well. What else did we want to touch on today? I think that's about it. Mike, did you have anything else you wanted to touch on? I know you were kind of flipping out a little bit earlier about the load board. Look, the load board is what it is. We're doing the best we can. I made my point about the load board a while ago. I'm not going to put garbage on the National Owner Operators Association's load board just to say there's loads on the load board. We're working hard to get as many loads as we can on the load board, but we're not going to put crap on the load board just to say the load board is full. We're doing everything we possibly can to get the load board full. We're no different than anybody else. We're dealing with trying to find loads and shippers and brokers to work with that want to be fair, and it's difficult, but we're breaking through. It takes time. We've been at this less than 3 months, and we need a little bit of time to get things rolling, and it's going to happen. It's just going to take longer than 3 months. And like I always say, it took 43 years to get us in this situation. It's going to take longer than 3 months to get us out. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't flipping out. I was flipping out on the people that are, expecting it to be there. It's like, do they expect, TQL to load our load board? I mean, what is it they expect? Because, out of 40,000 people in our room, there was 4. And 5, including my wife. I was only, counting 1 for each camera, but me, my wife were on 1, and there was only 3 others in the room, for the broker training. And that, hopefully that's going to change tomorrow because I've been doing a little bit of work behind the scenes, and I need verification on that 1 person. But other than that, but the simplicity is we're not a load board. And we offer so much more that it's not even funny. 27 different things that, you're not going to get from any other association, not to mention what have we done in the past 6 months? And then what have other, I'm not going to name any of them, associations done in the past 50 years? Let's just do some comparisons because, we've got broker reform in front of Congress at this point in time, and they've got maybe in another 20 years we might actually get transparency that's already a law. I don't know. We're just going to leave it there.
Yeah. Look, it is what it is. I'm not. I never said this was a sprint. It's a marathon, and we're not, like I said, we're not going to put crap on the board just to say the board is full. It'll get there. And the broker training course is doing fine. It'll get there. we're the new guys on the block, and everything takes time. I want to point out we are going to be at the California Trucking Show, October 14th and 15th, Ontario Convention Center. California Trucking Show. If you want to meet us in person, we will be there giving away free stuff as usual. You'll find us at booth 1532, 1532, October 14th and 15th at the Ontario Convention Center in sunny California. I was going to say something else, but
Ontario. Ontario.
Actually, I was going to say California, but I don't want to go there. But hey, we got to make the circuit. So Texas, California, Florida. So that's what we're going to do every year. But we are going to be there. Please come out October 14th and 15th, Ontario Convention Center. If you're in the area, I'd love to meet you, shake your hand. And we're going to have stickers for your trucks, hats, T-shirts, and a lot of other good stuff. Dan, the insurance man, is going to be there. So if you have insurance questions, Dan is going to be there with his entire team. And there's going to be other people there. Who else? I think Chris Bennick is going to be there.
Is Raphael going to be there?
Mike is going to be there. Raphael is going to be there. I'm going to be there. Sorry, my dogs are out there flipping out. I got two big ass Rottweilers patrolling the perimeter, and they go crazy every once in a while. I'm going to be there, and I think Jamie's going to be there as well. I don't know if Jennifer's going to be there. I haven't talked to Jennifer in a couple of days. Is she all right? I don't know. I gotta speak to her. Yeah. What else is news? We did make contact with Congressman Jeff Van Drew's office today. It looks like they are going to resubmit HR 7517. That is the overtime bill. You can find it at congress.gov, HR 7517, Guaranteeing Overtime for Truckers Act. You want to check that out, call your congressman, tell him what's up. We want you to support this Guaranteeing Overtime for Truckers Act. We're going to try to get it some more wording in there for owner operators if we can before it gets resubmitted. So I'll keep everybody posted on that. Another update. I will be in Washington, D.C. September 13th, 14th, and 15th. I'm going to be in Washington meeting with congressmen and senators September 13th, 14th, and 15th. And also, I'll let everybody know how that goes. And also, most importantly, we are shutting down from August 20th to the 26th, Operation Broker Reform Week. So, looks like we've been at it for about an hour and 15 minutes. If anybody has anything else to add, I think we had a good first show on YouTube. I'm ready to shut it down. I got Mr. Kane, who's running for Congress in West Virginia, in a Twitter space, requesting us to go over to Twitter real quick. So I want to shut this down and jump over to Twitter. Mike and Jake, if you guys want to jump in there real quick, he's got a Twitter space going. I want to shut this down and jump over there. If you guys have any last words, shoot.
God bless everybody. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us. That's all.
Yeah, same here. God bless, and thanks for hosting us, Mike. Because we know we're all new at this, and we're just trying to get the word out there. I'm going to ask the room that's going to be watching this. Why don't y'all start downloading Twitter and helping us out, get out there and get your voice heard. And I mean, we're networking like you don't believe, but we're doing all of it behind the scene because nobody else wants to, participate. So you're welcome. Download Twitter. We put the link in every time that we go in. It's just, if you want reform, you want it taken care of, then it's us. It's our organization. It's you guys. You're a part of the association, and you are the association. So, get out there and do it. I mean, let's get her done. That's it. Yeah, don't expect the 6 people that are sitting here that started it to roll out the red carpet to you, because, I mean, we are the association. It's yours. Treat it like it is. So anyway, www.tnooa.com. Join up, help, pitch in. You got an idea, throw it to us, and I mean, run with it. I mean, come on, guys.
You know what, Mike? You hit it right on the head, brother. It's like Jerry Maguire. Help me, help you. You know what I mean? We're out here screaming to the top of our lungs, in Washington, on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on, everywhere. We're out here screaming on TikTok. We're out here screaming at the top of our lungs, trying to advocate for you. Pick up the phone and advocate for yourself. Call your congressman, call your senator, send them an email, send them a text, pick up the phone and advocate for yourself. When I announce these things like this HR 7517 bill, you're supposed to pick up your phone and call your congressman and say, yo, what's up, man? What you doing about this? I'm concerned. You know what I mean? That's your duty. You know what I mean? When we talk about these things, that's what we're doing, and I'm going to tell everybody, I'm going to Washington because we're trying to get broker reform attached to an FAA bill that's going to be voted on in September. And a few congressmen have agreed to support that. And, we're going down there to lobby for that. And, we need people to pick up the phone and call their congressmen and senators and say, yo, man, we want broker reform. We want transparency. We want to get paid for all hours worked. This is the time. The time is now. Join NOAA, www.tnooa.com. Join NOAA. Join the fight. You know what I mean? Join the fight. And I'm going to park it right there. And I'm going to let you guys go. I see Jake is, he's driving. And Mike, I appreciate you coming on at short notice. We do these every night. So whenever you want to come on, brother. And you too,
Everybody
Jake.
have a good night. Yeah, man. Definitely.
Thank you.
It's good.
I'm ending the program. I agree. I agree. Any last words before I end the broadcast? Anything you want to plug?
Buddy. No.
No, we'll see you over at Twitter. If you could throw me that yes or no.
I'm going to check it, and I just looking at it, I think it's a yes. Okay. And I want to plug the National Owner Operators Association's parts department. If you're a member of the National Owner Operators Association, remember we have a complete parts division. Jake, you want to give them a quick rundown on that before we sign off, brother?
Deep discounts. Deep discounts.
I think that's enough said right there. You said a ton without saying very much. Yes, yeah. Deep discounts. We've got members that have left reviews on the discounts that our parts division was able to get them. If you're in the market for a new insurance policy, we've got an insurance division. We've got a compliance division. We're a one-stop shop. If you're looking to rent a trailer, lease a trailer, we could set you up with a discount on a trailer. We've got everything. So check out www.tnooa.com. It's all good over here. Thank you. Thank you both for joining me, and I will see everyone tomorrow night. I'm ending the broadcast. Signing off. Thank you. All in or nothing.
All in or nothing. Good night.
Good night.